What's going on, everyone? How are you guys doing? It is June 11th, 2021. And I guess the more appropriate way to start off this show is it's Friday. You know what that means? Another episode of AEW Dynamite, not AOW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. I thought the show was really good tonight. It was much better than last week's. Last week's episode was not really what I was expecting, especially coming off of something like Double or Nothing. We did get the Andrade debut, but you know, it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. Oh God, it's my thing crashing. My YouTube. I can't see the comments. It's all gone. James says, as Bora would say, Team Taz is fine. Not. Team Taz is fine, man. Team Taz is fine. Marcelo says this show slapped. I thought it was good. I know that it's a little late, so thank you guys for staying up and tuning in. I appreciate it. For the East Coast peeps, it's like what 12:16 a.m. So already past midnight. So we'll get through this as fast as we possibly can. I only plan to be here for about an hour or so. So if you can't stay up to stick around, no problems, no problems with that. So shout out to everyone that is here tonight. Skinny, how are you doing? Jose, how are you doing as well? Blake says, "What's up? First time watching this. Hey man, thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. It was pretty good, like I was saying, pretty good, much better than last week's." Maddie's here. How you doing, Marcel? How are you doing as well? James is here. Anthony says on the soundboard, say this. This show slapped. Blake says yes, East Coast baby. Yeah, I'm on West Coast. I'm on West Coast. It's only 9:16 for me, so it's still pretty early. But I feel for everyone else because I know that I have a lot of people here that are even in different countries and on the East Coast and stuff like that. And not everyone wants to stay up this late, especially to watch a wrestling show or to just hang out on a YouTube post show. So thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Will, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? And, especially after having going through 2 hours of SmackDown and then 2 hours of Dynamite and then doing a post show, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Jose says, what happened to AEW Underground today? Yeah, so I was planning on doing an AEW Underground, but I fell asleep. I was tired, so I took a little nap and I didn't wake up till 20 minutes before Dynamite. So my apologies. But we do have a huge show coming up on Monday that is AEW Money in the Bank. It's going to be long. We're going to have 9 matches. We're going to have a men's and a women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to tune in for that instead of watching Monday Night Raw, because who cares about that, right? Manny says, I do wish that Miro versus Evil Uno main evented based on other TNT title defenses. Fair enough. I think that the match that main evented because of the breakup between Team Taz. And my apologies. I also mean to say that Team Taz is fine. Team Taz is fine. Elver says, hey OW, what did you think of that segment between Bayley and Father Rollins? I thought it was the only good thing on SmackDown tonight. I did not watch it. So I am not sure. I did kind of get the gist of it. I saw a GIF of Rollins opening the door and Cesaro was on it, and then Cesaro beat the hell out of him, and Rollins' pants was down past his ankles. I don't know. That's all I saw. Blake says, pretty great episode. I agree. It was much better than last week. I would have liked to see some Impact involvement or advertisement since Kenny's defending against Moose tomorrow at Daly's place. Yeah, it's so okay. So the partnership is really weird. AEW does not promote Impact whatsoever. And I thought that it was interesting because at Double or Nothing, Kenny had all the championships. And I don't remember if he had them last week or not in the backstage segment. I'm not quite sure, but this week he only had the AEW World Championship. So it's kind of weird how they go back and forth on certain things about him having the championships and stuff. And I don't quite understand why Kenny Omega and Moose is taking place at Daly's place. Maybe it's because they don't want interference from Impact or something like that. But I mean, they could still fly there technically, or the Bucks could help Kenny retain or something. I'm pretty sure that Omega's going to retain, and then we're going to get Sami Callihan versus Omega at Slammiversary. I still think that Kenny Omega retains in that match against Sami Callihan. I don't know, though. I feel like it'd be a better option to put it on someone other than Sami Callihan. But that's just me. I'm not a watcher of Impact at all, really. So I don't necessarily understand what's going on. I originally thought that title was going to get put on Moose. I thought Moose was going to be the one to bring it home, but it's not really looking like that considering that this match is coming up. And it all feels too early. It all feels way too early to have Kenny Omega losing the championship. We haven't really seen much from it. There hasn't been much other than the Good Brothers just beating people up. That's about it. So it'll be really disappointing if, and I don't even want to even talk about Moose winning it because I don't think that that's possible. I don't think that's possible. I do think it's a possibility that Sami Callihan, um, I do think it's possible that Sami Callihan could win the championship. It's possible. It's possible, but I hope not. And it says AEW should let Impact host pay-per-views at Daily's Place until they can get fans back on their own. That'd be cool. That'd be cool, man. I had a lot of fun at Daily's Place. It was so cool. The venue was really cool. And just everything about it. I just love everything about Daily's Place. Ayan says, I kind of disagree with you right now because SmackDown was good tonight, and I understand that there were rematches, but it was good. You're being biased to AEW, and I'm sorry, but I'm upset. You can like whatever show you want to watch, man. That's cool that you enjoy SmackDown. I don't. I don't enjoy SmackDown. I don't enjoy Raw. I don't enjoy watching Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin for 4 weeks in a row, and then a 5th week in a row for a property of ownership of a crown that is a 2-year-old stale gimmick that he had to go through the King of the Ring tournament for. It's not for me, man. A 2-minute match between Carmella and Liv Morgan back to back, like, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. I think I will probably return briefly. I will probably return to WWE Raw and SmackDown when fans come back. I might give them a watch. We might kind of see what's going on. We might do a post show for those and maybe do AEW Underground and FFBW on a different time or something like that on that week. I do want to give them another shot because SummerSlam is coming up and they're fixing to have John Cena. So that should be great. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about Survivor Series, about how they're looking to get The Rock for Survivor Series, and they're looking to set up that Roman Reigns versus Rock at WrestleMania, and that is going to be. Let me do the voice changer. That is going to be
such good shit.
Like the best. Roman Reigns versus The Rock is going to be huge, and they've done, like, everything else aside, they've done really, really good at keeping Roman Reigns on top. He's still the best part of the show. He's sprinkled throughout the whole entire thing. And even though the stuff that he is doing is repetitive, I still find it enjoyable. And I don't necessarily want to sit there for 2 hours to see that 2.5 minutes of Roman Reigns segments with the Usos. So I've been catching them on Twitter, and they're great. They're great. Ian says, as a big fan of yours, I feel really sad, but didn't Lance Archer face a local talent? That is random. I mean, yeah, so Lance Archer did face local talent tonight. It seemed, I've been really confused with Lance Archer's booking in AEW, and it seems like they're looking for a reset for him, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, by what they were talking about on commentary tonight. Skinny says, do you think Daily's Place will be an important venue in pro wrestling? It should, because it's great. I mean, it doesn't hold a lot of people, so you can't put 15,000 people in there. I think they had somewhere around 5,000 for Double or Nothing, and it was great. It was great, but I don't necessarily know if it could be because of its size. Baron says, why don't you watch NXT UK? It's just too much wrestling. For me personally, I feel like that's a lot of wrestling to cover, and I'm usually busy during the afternoons and stuff like that. So I don't have time to sit there and cover NXT UK. I mean, I guess I could always just watch it later, whenever I wanted to, but I don't know. It's been a little bit better since I stopped watching Raw and SmackDown, but wrestling fatigue is real, man. Wrestling fatigue is real. Just watching all those shows, covering all those shows, talking about all those shows, going live for all those shows. Like, it's a lot. So I've kind of halted back a little bit with the 2 shows that I think are good every week. and that's NXT, and that is AEW Dynamite as well. But like I said, eventually I'm trying to do this stuff on Instagram, where we're trying to build another sort of community where it's just full live coverage. And so I don't necessarily know how I'm going to go about it yet, but I would like to have someone cover Raw and SmackDown, and maybe if other people want to cover NXT or Dynamite or other things like that, it's all good. So I'm still working on how to do it and where I want to do it and all of this other stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. All that stuff will return. And either way, whether I do live coverage of Raw or SmackDown or not, I do plan on doing video reviews of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Dynamite. Those would be probably like 10 minutes long or something like that. And I'd upload them to YouTube the next day, or maybe even that night if I get them done fast enough. Like, why not? But we'll see. We'll see. As of right now, since I made that change, I'm just looking to I'm looking to change things up. I'm trying to see, like, I've been doing the same shit for so long that, like, I'm testing the waters on new things that may be better for growth and maybe getting out there a little bit more, and maybe even working with other people as well. I'm just kind of open to whatever. Marcel says, you're going to be doing Against All Odds tomorrow. I'll probably watch it. I don't know if there'll be a post show or not. Like, I did one for the last, or not the last, but I did one for an Impact show not too long ago, and it was fine, but like, I don't know what's going on. So like, when I'm talking about the show, it's kind of difficult, where I'm just like, cool, this match was good, this person retained, but like, I have no idea what they've been doing. I don't know what the story is. I don't know anything that's going on. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Skinny says, WWE trying to push Roman Reigns to the moon, but won't push a babyface to the mainstream world. I think that they're scared of losing people to Hollywood. That's what I think. I think they're scared of people transcending wrestling. They've lost all of their major people recently from that. Elver says Edge should face Father Rollins at SummerSlam. I'm down for that. Jose says, that was the reply to someone else. Elver says, how do you feel about Cesaro embarrassing Father Rollins with his pants missing and all? I don't know. I didn't really see it, but not a good look to have your pants around your ankles on TV. Mian says, no offense to you, but I'm sorry if I said anything bad, because I'm a huge WWE fan and started watching in 2018. So yeah, I really love it from the bottom of my heart. That's why I got pissed. All good, man. You are entitled to your own opinion. You are entitled to like whatever shows that you want. I'm not bothered by other people liking shows that I don't. I'm glad that you enjoy them, and that's great. That's great. And maybe sometime they will get better, in my opinion, and I'll return. We'll see. Elver says, LA Knight thinks he's the hero of NXT, but in reality, he's actually the villain, and Cameron Grimes is the true hero, and he will take the $1 million championship to the moon. I agree 100%. 100%. I can't wait, and that is on Sunday as well, which there will be full coverage of NXT TakeOver in your house on Sunday, and of course, we'll do a post show as well. Anthony says, will you do an Ask Me Anything live stream again? Yeah, sure. We just need to find some time to do it. I've been super busy. I took on a new project that I've been working on with people, and boy, are they demanding. And we're about to start off a new one as well, and I might have to travel for like 2 weeks or a week. So I'm trying to figure out all of that stuff, and I might just like take my mic and my MacBook with me or something if I do end up going, so that we can still do what we do. Marcel says, I think AEW has the best baby faces in the world. I'm very impressed with Dynamite and AEW with what they do. Blake says, if you need any help, buddy, let me know. You should see me on Twitter, so don't hesitate to DM me. Yeah, I'm waiting to kind of see what I want to do, because I don't want to get people on the ropes and not be able to figure it out. So I'm still trying to figure out everything that I want to do and need to do. But essentially what I'm going to do is I have an email set up, and I'll either have people send me an email, or I'll do like a form where people can pick what shows that they want and stuff. But It's going to be demanding. You're going to have to be there every single week to do it, and you're going to have the capabilities of taking your own screenshots or capabilities of finding good ones to post. So Don't Be Fickle says, hello, won't stay here long, but I'll be here tomorrow night for NXT TakeOver post show. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, man. But that is actually on Sunday. NXT TakeOver in your house is on Sunday, my friend. Impacts Against All Odds is on tomorrow, though. I don't think there's going to be a post show for it. Maybe if something crazy happens, maybe if the show's like really good or something, maybe I'll do like a short one, but I don't know. Aeon says, I really try to be quiet because if I defend it, people say cuss words to me. So yeah, I said my opinion, but yeah, anyways, I'll still be your supporter. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, people, man, people on the internet are crazy, man. People on the internet are crazy. People have been blowing me up for a day now, 24 hours. All these weirdos on Twitter and Instagram, they're mad that I posted a promo from Triple H with some ratings numbers. Ooh. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. Jonathan says, is it just me or is anyone else tired of this Cody feud with the Factory? I'm not necessarily tired of it, but I am kind of confused as to where that it is going to go, because now we have some sort of like South Bay strap match or something that's going to be going down between Cody and QT Marshall at God, what is that show called? Road Rager on July 7th. And I just don't know how it's going to end. Like, if QT beats Cody, then what happens? Or maybe Cody beats QT and then the Factory people turn on QT and they're like, you suck. You were never a good leader anyways. Hell if I know, man. I don't know. Raphael says, it's funny how WWE is scared of losing people to Hollywood, but they'll willingly release top stars and fan favorites for budget cuts when they're making record profits. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. I had heard a rumor, I can't remember who posted it, but there's a rumor going around that WWE is just releasing people with big money contracts, and then they're going to try to renegotiate with them at a lower cost to try to save money. And man, I think this came about with all of the Aleister Black talk, if I remember correctly. There was some mentioning of that, because a lot of people think that Aleister Black, or Tommy End, whatever it is you want to call him, is AEW bound, and I would probably agree to that. But also today, Fightful Select reported that NXT could be interested in bringing Samoa Joe back to the Black and Gold brand, and this would be for a wrestling role, which is very interesting because, to my knowledge, one of the reasons why they got rid of Samoa Joe is that he kept hounding them to get back into the ring, and they said no wrestling. You're on commentary, and he wasn't cleared. So I don't know, kind of interesting to see that they release him, but they want to bring him back in NXT. And this is all speculation from talent, I believe. But Fightful also did an update earlier that I did not post, where they said that he was at the Performance Center last week. He was seen at the Performance Center, but no one necessarily knows why. It could have been for literally any reason. For me, like, to touch on this really quick before we get onto the show, Samoa Joe moving to NXT really seems backwards to me. We talked about this on the NXT post show, but I feel like NXT is too stacked. I feel like there's people who have been in NXT for too long, and with Samoa Joe there, like, I don't know. I don't get it. It's like Finn Balor. Like, the whole Finn Balor stuff was great, but now that he's not the champion, it's kind of like, where does Finn Balor go from here? Is he going to do the Walter stuff? Like, that's cool. And I know a lot of people want Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross as well, but if Samoa Joe goes to NXT and takes on Karrion Kross, what's next? Does Samoa Joe dethrone Kross and have a title reign? Probably not. So where does Joe go? Just being on the NXT roster? Like, I feel like he could be so much more somewhere else. And And I hate to be that guy, but he's he's another one that I feel like could be AEW bound. But Samoa Joe could also be a huge asset to Impact as well. And maybe he could be a game changer for Impact. Maybe he could help bring more eyes to it. Samoa Joe is crazy talented, and whoever gets their hands on him is lucky. Very lucky. Blake says they should start building towards an Impact AEW invasion towards the end of 2021, leading into 2022. I actually heard that someone in the comments for that Impact post that I put said that maybe it's at Daly's place because they're gonna have the AEW roster help Kenny Omega retain, which I thought was pretty interesting. And that could lead to some sort of invasion, but I don't know. I'm not even necessarily sure an invasion works. I don't know. Raphael says the fact that AEW is doing 4 themed big shows in a row has me excited. They must have some big stuff planned. Yeah, I think they do those every year. They did 3 last year, though. I think the Road... God, I keep forgetting. Is it Road Rage? Road Rager. Road Rager is an addition, but I can't remember if there was something else before that or not. Or what it was called. But yeah, I mean, this is their return to Wednesday night, so it makes sense that they go out with a bang. They've been on Friday for what, over a month? Or they will have been on Friday for over a month, and Saturday 1 week as well. And so they're gonna need something to get their viewership back up to where it needs to be, for sure. Ian says, would you mind telling me what Andrade El Idolo did today at AEW? He just had a video package. Just a video package. And he will have a sit down with JR next week. How's it going, Punk? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Raphael says, before they released him, I thought they were going to bring him back so he could feud with Bobby Lashley. That's what I wanted to see. That would have been great. That would have been great. I've missed Samoa Joe greatly. Elvis says, I could see Finn Balor potentially winning the North American title as he hasn't won that title yet, and it's one of the last things he can do in NXT. Maybe. And I mean, that's the whole thing. Is like, I think Balor could probably be main roster bound as well. And that's kind of like where I feel like Samoa Joe would be as well, where he gets back into the groove of things. He's in NXT, and then all of a sudden it's just back to square one. You know, like, okay, here we go. I guess I'm going to be on Raw or SmackDown. Blake says, wow, I didn't think of that. Yeah, there has to be a reason why the show is at Daly's place. There has to be. It doesn't make sense. It's weird. James says, I watched AEW Dynamite from the hotel room in Columbus, Ohio. I missed about 30 to 35 minutes of it, but it's all good. I even watched the trios match in the lobby while eating a mini Blue Bunny sundae. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. It was a good show tonight. Mian says Roman versus Rey Mysterio as happening at Hell in a Cell. It'll be a good match. I will be watching Hell in a Cell, and we'll have a post show for that for sure. I don't necessarily think it warrants a Hell in a Cell match, but I guess that's a topic for another day, I guess. And we've talked about that a lot of times, where it's like, I feel like they should remove these themed pay-per-views like that just call for matches like that. Like Extreme Rules, why? Hell in a Cell, like, if you have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, that means you have to have a couple Hell in a Cell matches, which means you all of a sudden need to start booking these feuds that require Hell in a Cell matches. It just seems so out of place. Just give us like the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, and like Elimination Chamber or something like that, you know? And then just do these other Extreme Rules matches and Hell in a Cell matches whenever they're warranted for them. James says it's 9:40 at home, but 12:40 here in Ohio. Yeah, man, late for the East Coasters. We're already about 30 minutes in, so we'll try to run through this show pretty fast. Alex says, are you going to watch NXT TakeOver on Sunday? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There will be full coverage of NXT TakeOver in your house on Sunday, and we will be doing a post show. Should be a great show. I don't think I've ever seen a NXT TakeOver that I didn't like, so I'm sure it'll be great. Warrior says Money in the Bank should have stayed as a WrestleMania attraction, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind that. either. But I mean, it is a little different now that they have the women's one. It's very time consuming. Very time consuming matches. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. See what you're saying. That would also probably lead to like some excitement as well, crowning 2 new Money in the Bank briefcase holders before like the main events of WrestleMania. And you know, now that they're probably going to do 2-night WrestleManias going forward, is from what I understand, which is a good idea. They could do one on one night and one on the other. I guess that would work. That would work. And just make the shows just more worthy of being WrestleMania. Okay, so we got 30 minutes left, so let's go ahead and get into the show. I don't want to keep you guys for too long because I know that it is late. Mian says WWE tickets start at $25, so you can go. Man, I am done traveling. I am done traveling. I need some time. I need some time. That trip to Florida killed me. Killed me. And it was very expensive, by the way. Very expensive. So I need a break. And I'm never flying again when you have to make connecting flights. Like, it's either a direct flight or I'm not going. I don't care if it's 10 hours to get there, but our experience flying back from Florida put a very bad taste in my mouth. And I don't ever want to do connecting flights ever again. James is probably going to miss NXT TakeOver because I'm going to have 2 planes home. I might even watch Monsters University. Well, have fun on your trip. Elvis says, I have a feeling that Frankie Monet is going to be the next NXT Women's Champion, but I want Xia Li to be the one to dethrone Raquel. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm kind of interested in seeing where that's going because Xia Li's taking on Mercedes Martinez, and I think it's on the pre-show. So does Xia Li beat Mercedes Martinez, or does Mercedes Martinez beat Xia Li, and then Tian Sha finally enters the equation, and maybe Tian Sha wrestles or something like that? I don't know. I'm torn. Ian says, I'm going to call it for the night. I got chores to do. See you at NXT TakeOver in your house. Thank you, man, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night. And speed through those chores, my friend. Speed through those chores. All right, so let's get into the show finally. Like I said, we just got about 30 minutes left. So Chloe says, am I late? We're getting into the show right now. James says, your cousin is getting married. Well, congratulations to him, and I will give you those 3 woos. There you go, my friend. Some woos for your cousin that's getting married. Okay, so tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite opened up with Christian Cage taking on Angelico from TH2. It's been a while since we've seen them, to my knowledge, on Dynamite. Happy to see them back together. I love TH2. I love Angelico. I love the little the little dance he does where he shakes his shoulders or whatever and takes off his jacket. I love it, man. Can't get enough. Cannot get enough of it. And this was a good match. It's nice to see Christian going up against other people that are great, like Angelico. It was a good way to open up the show. Nice little rub for Angelico. Nice win for Christian Cage as well, leading more into his feud with Big Money Matt, which I think will be very interesting as well. It's like a nice little blast from the past here. And I would assume that in that said match, whenever that happens, that Christian will be the one going over. And so after this match, Christian beat Angelico. And afterwards, Jack Evans came into the ring and Matt Hardy came into the ring to attack Christian. And they did successfully. But Jungle Boy came out to the ring after Matt Hardy hit him with a twist of fate to help save Christian. And all of this is just really making me wonder if AEW is planting seeds for a Christian Cage and Jungle Boy feud. I think it would be great. And I think it kind of makes sense. You can have, I mean, Jungle Boy is over like crazy, by the way. Like, I still haven't seen Double or Nothing yet on TV, but man, that arena, Daly's Place, venue, whatever the hell it is you want to call it, that place came unglued for Jungle Boy. And I'm pretty sure Jungle Boy had a match on Dark Elevation while we were there as well. That was filmed before Dynamite, before the go home episode of Dynamite, ahead of Double or Nothing. And people went batshit crazy for Jungle Boy. So this is what I think is a brewing right in front of our eyes. So Christian and Jungle Boy, they're kind of buddy. They are kind of working together-ish in a way. Jungle Boy beats Christian in the Casino Battle Royal. Jungle Boy gets that AEW World Championship opportunity, takes it away from Christian, and Christian pays his respects to him. So I think at some point, Christian will either cost Jungle Boy the title against Kenny Omega, or they will somehow get into a feud afterwards where Christian's like, it should have been me that won it. I should have been the one to win this match. And him and Jungle Boy will put on an amazing match, and Christian will put over Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy will be even more over. Philip says, hey, I'm busy watching the game you played on Wednesday. I left the game up. It's fun. I want to play it on Christmas last year. My aunt bought me a game at GameStop card. I'm going to spend it on one day. Well, nice, man. Nice. Yeah, you can get Fire Pro for the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. And you can get it on PC as well on Steam. And it's pretty cheap. I think it's like $15-20. But the DLCs do add up eventually. Warrior said Jungle Boy's pop was translated very well on television. Yeah, I'll have to see that, because it was crazy. And even after he won, it was just all of it was crazy. It was so crazy to be in that environment with fans again, and like to hear organic sounds and not the fake sounds. Like I watched that clip from Impact that had Scott D'Amore and Tony Khan and Don Callis in it. And the fake crowd noise that they put in that was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. I was like, man, come on, really? Christopher says, I want to see Andrade join Death Triangle and Lucha Bros betray Pac. I would love for just all four of them to be together. That'd be cool as hell. I would love that. Chloe says, it should have been me. Dolph Ziggler. Yes. Philip says, after that, I was watching the Nexus and the new Nexus, and I like the new Nexus, but it's not better, I feel ya. Elvis says, it's been fun being here at AEW. I got to go to sleep, but I'll be back for NXT TakeOver in your house post show on Sunday. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, man, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you for staying up late. And yes, sir, I will be here on Sunday. Hope you have a great weekend as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I think is a brewing in front of us. Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. Maybe not. I don't know, but I think it'll be very entertaining. After this match, when AEW came back from commercial, they announced a series of gimmick shows, pay-per-view light shows that they've been doing. So July 7th, I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that July 7th is their first week back on Wednesday nights. So July 7th will be AEW Dynamite, and it will be called Road Rager. And this will be from the James L. Knight Center in Miami, Florida. So fans are returning here, by the way. Fans are returning. So this is going to be crazy. This is going to be very crazy. I can't wait. Next up, we have Fyter Fest Night 1. This will be on Wednesday, July 14th. And this will be in Cedar Park, Texas, in Austin, the greater Austin area. Night 2, Fyter Fest Night 2 will be the following week, Wednesday, July 21st. And this will be in Garland, Texas. Next up, the following week, and this is the final one of them, is Fight for the Fallen. This returns on Wednesday, July 28th. And this will be from the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be great. And there's going to be fans in attendance. I wonder how many people are actually going to be there. Like, is it going to be like 10, 12,000 people in these arenas again? Because, man, that's going to be a sight to see. That's going to, like, I love Daly's Place. It's great. Daly's Place is amazing, but it doesn't have that big venue feel like an actual big venue does. Big surprise, right? But it'll be really nice to see just a huge pool of crowd. Like, just tons of people. Once again, making noise. Oh, yes. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. So I'm very excited for these. These will be coming up, like I said, July 7th through July 28th. Next up, there was a segment here with Cody. They put it off as like a big announcement that was coming up. So Cody is going to be teaming up with Arn Anderson's son. His name is Brock Anderson. He was trained at the Nightmare Factory. So I don't know. This is going to be an interesting one to see. I don't know. He looks literally just like his father. Literally just like his father. He looks like a mini Arn Anderson. And I saw that a lot of people were like, oh, they heard the name Brock and people kind of went crazy. Because I think if I remember correctly, they lingered on it a little bit. But yeah, he will be making his AEW Dynamite debut. Brock Anderson will be teaming up with Cody in a tag team match, and they will be taking on QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. And I think this is the first time, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, the first time that we will see Aaron Solo in a match. I think. Unless he's been on Dark, but I don't know. Christopher says, thoughts on Lio Rush retiring from pro wrestling. I really enjoyed his talent and was quite a unique athlete. Sad to see him retire because Lio Rush was great. He had a huge pop at Double or Nothing, at least in the venue, when people found out it was him. You could tell because on his video package it said Rush something in a like quote or slogan, and people went batshit crazy. So it was awesome, and it sucks that he got injured in that. It really sucks. That seems to be a thing that happens in the Casino Battle Royal for the Jokers. Let's see here. James says Full Gear will be the only Saturday AEW pay-per-view this year. Interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. Christopher says, I know it didn't make sense at all in my head, but once Tony said Brock, I thought it was Lesnar. That would have been so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Where he says, I don't understand the point of Cody versus QT feud continuing. A Go-Go didn't win at the pay-per-view, and QT already lost before that. I don't get it either, man. None of this. I don't think any of this Nightmare Family Factory stuff has translated over very well. I feel like Anthony Ogogo should have beat Cody at Double or Nothing. That would have made more sense to me. And I've said this every time we talk about this. I still think this too, by the way. I don't think that QT Marshall is the person that we're looking for in the factory. I think that QT is just the familiar face that we know. And I think that, because if you ask me, and AEW has made this mistake a lot of times where they just bring people on TV and they just assume that you know who they are. So I think that the whole thing with QT splitting from them was just to give a familiar face for these three guys. And that is Aaron Solo, Nick Camarado, and Anthony Ogogo. I think that QT is just the vessel to get you familiar with him. So if I had to guess, I would say that Cody beats QT at Road Rager or whatever in that strap match. And then afterwards, I would say that the factory turns on QT and they part ways with him. And I believe we talked about this maybe last week, I think. I think the match is Cody, Dustin, and QT versus Aaron Solo, Nick Camarado, and Anthony Ogogo. Have QT cower back to the Nightmare Family and then face the people that he brought up. That'd be my guess. And then you would have the factory go over the Nightmare Family. That's what I would do. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Christopher says, I will be in attendance July 7th in Miami. I hope you have fun, man. I hope you have fun. It's gonna be that's gonna be great going back to like a fully stacked show like that. Because I was in attendance for the first Dynamite before. There wasn't that many people there. I think there was probably like 2,000, 1,500 maybe. It was not full by any means. And even that was great. And then when we went to Double or Nothing the next day or the day later, whatever, there was about 5,000 people. It was full and it was crazy. So like, I couldn't imagine being back in a venue with like 10, 12, 15,000 people in it. That's going to be crazy, man. You're going to have a blast. Gonna have a blast. James says, I think Survivor Series should also be in a stadium this year. It would make real sense if all the big four pay-per-views were in large venues. I'd be fine with that. Especially if you're gonna have The Rock. Man, The Rock showing up on WWE TV is gonna be crazy. Gonna be absolutely crazy. So next up we had a trios match. We had Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo teaming up with Eddie Kingston to take on the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. This was a really good match, and it was really funny that Brandon Cutler's had some sort of torn, broken face thing or whatever in his cheek or lower eye, whatever it is in that area. So he's been walking around with the classic face mask that they use in wrestling, and so they cleared him on BTE to wrestle this week. And so he was in this match with the Young Bucks, and they kept kicking him in the face. So one of the Bucks super kicked him in the face, and then another time he got kicked on the outside of the ring, right in the face mask. And it was funny. It was great. I think we all pretty much knew that with Brandon Cutler in this match, he was going to be the one taking the L for them. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes going forward. And we also not only did we have this stuff between Pac and Penta and Phoenix and the Young Bucks, but we also have this kind of old relationship between Penta and Phoenix and Eddie Kingston, and some sort of tension between Pac and Kingston. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I really appreciate that. I really like the stuff that they did in tonight's show. This show was light years better than last week's. Literally light years. That one, it was just so disappointing, and I'm not sure if it's just because it was the fallout from Double or Nothing and everyone was just expecting some crazy huge show. And I mean, they did deliver Andrade, but it came off weird the way that they did it. Came off weird. Leroy says, congratulations to Miko Satomura on becoming the new women's NXT UK champion. Yeah, it's crazy. Finally dethroned Kaylee Ray. Crazy. It's 600 and something day championship reign. Warrior says Kingston versus Pat coming full circle after feuding with each other way back. I love it, man. I love it. It's good. It is good. Next up, we heard from the Pinnacle for the first time since losing at Double or Nothing, and all of these promos were flames. FTR killed it. Sean Spears killed it. Wardlow killed it. MJF killed it. Everyone killed it. And it seems like, I think we've talked about this every time we talk about the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. It's that I feel like their feud started off too hot. They kind of break off. So MJF and Wardlow break off from the Inner Circle. Then they have their own group with FTR and Sean Spears. And they just go, bam, right out of the gate. They just hit you with blood and guts, which was great. But to me, Blood and Guts is a feud-ending match. Okay? Pinnacle gets the win in Blood and Guts. Feud's not over. Not a big surprise. So then Stadium Stampede. There's only been another one, but that was a feud-ending match. The Inner Circle wins. So now here we are. We're 50-50 between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. And I don't necessarily know what it's coming up. I don't know if there's going to be another big 10-man match or whatever it is, or if they're just going to do this single stuff. Which I'm not mad at the single stuff whatsoever. I actually really like the single stuff. It's great. I'm excited for this Jake Hager and Wardlow match that is in this. MMA rules, octagon thing. Like, that's going to be dope as hell. Warrior says it feels like the actual feud is being booked backwards. Blood and Guts should have 100% been the feud ender. Yeah, it really does. Like, this stuff, the singles stuff really feels like it should have been what led to Blood and Guts. So it kind of feels rushed, and I don't necessarily know why, because there was no need to rush Blood and Guts whatsoever. They could have put it off, and they could have done all of this other stuff as well. But either way, I'm excited for it. FTR, Santana and Ortiz. I absolutely love Santana and Ortiz. They've been so great. So it'll be great to see them up with FTR. Jake Hager and Wardlow is going to be great. I think that Wardlow is going to be a superstar one day. Like, I don't know. It's just about him like that. Or he has the look and everything like that. I think that Wardlow could be someone special. He's someone to keep your eyes on in AEW for sure. Sean Spears and Sammy Guevara, not mad at that match at all. And if it does happen, man, Sean Spears needs to get some love. Sean Spears really needs to get some love. He was a real hot commodity when he was doing the chair stuff with Cody. That was great. Like, when we went to that show, I want to say it was All Out, if I remember correctly. When we went to that show, my fiance was wearing a chairman shirt, a Sean Spears shirt. And I've never seen so many grown-ass men, like, look at someone, a woman, so dirty before in their life. They were like so disgusted that someone had a chairman shirt on. It was hilarious. But he's really cooled off. So we actually need some love for the Pinnacle just in general. I feel like since they're the new guys on the block over the Inner Circle, they should be getting the wins here. James says, I immediately changed the channel back to NBA on ESPN in the lobby when Cash Wheeler said shit. I love FTR, man. And people think that people said that FTR couldn't speak. Isn't that funny? People said that EC3 couldn't speak, even though he was gold in TNA, Impact, wherever. He was gold in NXT. And then they just made him some weird mute on Raw. And then this guy leaves and does that whole, like, free your narrative thing or control your narrative. That shit is crazy. And look at all the cool stuff that Matt Cardona is doing. Like, him and that Nick Cage stuff. Nick Cage crashed his major pod appearance thing that they had today. Man, that's some. Let me get the voice changer here. That is
such good shit.
Yeah, I mean, Wardlow could be AEW's Batista. I think that he's going to be huge one day. I really do. Philip says, Christian Cage, you still undefeated. So Christian Cage is full-time or part-time? He's full-time. Full-time in AEW. He's been featured a lot more lately. Anyways, when the Pinnacle was done talking, we had a good old classic, hey, up here. Chris Jericho with the hey up here to the Titantron, where the Inner Circle was outside at the Pinnacle's limo, and they beat the hell out of it with sledgehammers and spray paint. And then Jake Hager showed up on a forklift and just drove right into it and lifted it up. Great segment. AEW loves destroying vehicles. They've been on TV for a year and a half or so, give or take, and they've probably destroyed like 6 vehicles at this point. So interesting to see. Next up, we had a little segment here with Darby Allin and Sting. Last week, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page challenged Darby Allin to a tag team match, but they said, you can't use Sting. You need to use someone else other than Sting, because Sting has been carrying you through your entire AEW career. Sting is the one that's made you. Sting is why you're popular. Sting is why you're winning matches and yada, 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 yada. So today we're supposed to get the answer. And a lot of people, including myself, thought that it would be some sort of special person. And I guess it still could be. But Darby Allin said, I'm not going to replace Sting. I can't replace Sting with anyone. So I want this match to be a handicap match. Darby Allin wants to take on Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky by himself. He tells Sting that he needs to stay home. So I'm very interested in seeing how this plays out. And I think it could play out a bunch of different ways. Meaning that Sting doesn't show up, Darby gets the hell beat out of him, and it causes some sort of tension between him and Sting. That's a possibility. Sting does show up to help Darby, and it pisses Darby off because he told him to stay at home. There's tension between Darby and Sting. Or maybe it's just a big old swerve, and Darby will bring in someone special. I don't know. Either way, I feel like this leads to tension between Darby and Sting. We haven't really figured out what their relationship is. Apparently, they're just tag team buddies. But I feel it, man. A feud between them. I feel like it's coming. James says, it's so crazy that AEW has only done their shows in America. Where do you think their first show outside of America would be? I have no clue, man. I have no clue. No clue whatsoever. And, you know, they've only done shows on, like, the East Coast as well. They've never really come to the West Coast. At least not yet. Hoodie says, Team Taz is fine. Yes, Team Taz is fine. Chloe says, Darby and Sting, or should I say AOW and Phillip? Yes. Me and little bro. Warrior says, I think the first AEW show outside of America will be in the UK. Not a bad choice. The UK is dying for some love. I always see them wanting big shows over there. Christopher says, I love Paige and Sky, man. They just have that it factor, in my opinion. 2 megastars. Keep your eyes on Men of the Year. Yep, I completely agree. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, man, they haven't really done anything impressive. And I mean, this is kind of the way it is when you have so many people that are extremely talented. There's not enough room for everyone to be shining at every moment. I mean, look at how long it took them to pull the trigger on Miro. But Scorpio Sky, man, he is so talented. Scorpio Sky is so talented. He definitely has a bright future in AEW. But I also know, or I heard, that Scorpio Sky's contract is coming to an end. And actually, there's a lot of contracts coming to an end in AEW at the end of this year. So it'll be very interesting to see who's happy and who's not, and who sticks around and who leaves. We've seen a lot of people jumping ship from other promotions and heading to AEW, but AEW is still so fresh that we haven't really been seeing people leave AEW and show up elsewhere. It'll be interesting to see if, well, I mean, Impact poaching people is not really best for business at this point, considering that they're kind of working together. But I wouldn't be surprised if WWE offered big money contracts to certain people to get them away from AEW. Scorpio Sky being one of those guys that I think that could be a major game changer to someone. And Ethan Page as well. I think the guy's really talented. I loved the work that he did in Impact. I loved the whole Karate Man stuff, and I loved his tag team work with Josh Alexander in the North. Man, the North kicked ass. Philip says, SmackDown is brutal. I feel you, man. I feel what you said now is brutal. Crazy, Philip. It's crazy to hear you say that. But yeah, it's not for me, man. It is not for me. Next up, we had Miro defending his TNT championship against Evil Uno. This was a really, really good match. I'm so happy with where Miro is in his career right now with AEW. They're doing so well. He's on top. He's undefeated in singles competition. Still. He goes out there, puts on great matches. He speaks well. He does it all, man. He does it all. It is so good. And they made Evil Uno winning this match, they made it really feel like a possibility. There were a couple times where I was like, man, I'm going to be pissed if they take the TNT championship off of Miro, because they're really bigging up Evil Uno. They're really bigging up Evil Uno with the the Brody Lee packages, having the Dark Order out there, having -1 out there. They really made you feel like it was possible for Evil Uno to walk away with the TNT Championship. But luckily he didn't. Thank God. But man, it was good. It was good. Evil Uno and Miro had a great match back and forth with each other. And the finish, oh man, I thought the finish was so good. Evil Uno, he had the upper hand on Miro temporarily. The Dark Order came out with -1 and everything. They were out there. They were rooting for Evil Uno. And man, right after they came out, Miro locked him in the game over, and he started doing the thing where he lays him all the way down on his back and continues to pull on him. And Evil Uno taps out, but Miro continues to keep it locked in, and he's just laying there waving. He's choking out Evil Uno with one arm, and he's laying on his back waving to the Dark Order and -1 with his other arm. It was good. I wish they would have got a better visual of it, but that was great. I loved that. Flash, how you doing, my friend? Fellow disciple in the building. Let me give you some woos. How you doing, my friend? Always a pleasure to see you. He says, by the way, are we going to have coverage of Impact's pay-per-view tomorrow? I'm not sure if I'm going to do full coverage of it or just a couple things. I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted tomorrow. I'll post something on Instagram when I know a little bit more. And post show as well. I don't think there will be one, but if we do, if something crazy happens, I might throw one up and we might just kind of hang out for a half an hour or something like that. We'll see. We will see. Christopher says, will you be watching Moose versus Omega tomorrow? Yes, for sure. That one for sure. I just don't know if it'll be the whole pay-per-view or not. Christopher says, I feel like we should have had the North versus FTR. Yes, I would have loved to see that. Warrior says, Miro staring down the Dark Order after tapping out their guy was fantastic. I couldn't agree more, man. I loved it. I loved it. I'm so happy for Miro, man. I'm so happy for him. This is what he deserved in WWE. This is how someone like Miro should be booked. I can't get enough of it. Next up, we had a video package for Andrade. This was him getting dressed. He was putting on a white suit with black pinstripes on it. Putting on the shirt, the La Sombra necklace that he has, suit jacket, the tie, and then he gloved up as well. The end of it said Andrade El Idolo, face of Latinos. That was all we got for Andrade this week. And next week, he will be doing a sit-down interview with JR. So I'm very excited for that as well. And it's kind of a nice way to keep him away and figure out what to do with him. He didn't have music when he came out. It seems like he's going to be with Vicky as well. So are they going to do that weird thing that they did with Tully for a while where Vicky manages Andrade and Vicky manages Nyla Rose, but they don't necessarily combine with each other? There won't be any Andrade and Nyla Rose stuff going on. I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what JR asks Andrade, and I'm excited to see what he has to say as well, because Andrade is all elite, but Andrade is also facing Kenny Omega at Triple Mania for the, I can't remember what it's called. The AAA World Championship. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but he's challenging him for that. And him and Kenny haven't had any interaction yet on Dynamite. So I'm just kind of interested to see where they're going to go with him and what they're going to do and where he's going to be placed on the show, because Andrade is one of my favorites of all time. So I need him to be booked correctly. Just like Miro. I need him to be booked correctly. Really do. Really do. The AAA, the Mega title. Yes, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, James. Yes, the Mega. The AAA Mega. So that match is coming up in August, I think, or so. Warrior says, I don't think Andrade will win the AEW title, but I do see him beating Omega for the AAA title and being the one to show it off more on Dynamite as part of the face of the Latinos gimmick. For sure. Yeah, I could definitely see that. It would be a good way to make him feel important as well, and not like step on anyone's toes, you know, because I still feel like the path is Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. And I think that Hangman Adam Page is going to kick out of the One Winged Angel. It's going to be a huge deal. He's going to dethrone him and become the new AEW World Champion. It's going to be Hangman. I don't see that path changing with Miro. I don't see that path changing with Andrade. I think that's the plan. After that, I'm not quite sure. It could be MJF. It could be someone else. I don't know, but I'm sold on Page being the next world champion. Hoodie, how you doing, my friend? Says, what's good, y'all? How are y'all doing? I'm doing good, man. I hope you're doing good. We're going to try to wrap this up here because we're at over an hour, and I know that it is late for a lot of you guys. So next, we had Stonks up for Jade Cargill. I don't know what they're doing, but I've been impressed with Jade Cargill. And I like Smart Mark Sterling. I think that name's hilarious. It's great. Next up, we had Lance Archer taking on local talent. Lance Archer just came out, man. He didn't even wait for the bell to ring. He didn't even wait for Justin Roberts to completely announce him. He threw, I think his name was Chandler or something, threw him down. He got in like the slightest little offense and just beat the hell out of him. He didn't even stick around to celebrate. He beat him, got the pin, and just dipped. And on commentary, they were making it seem like this was kind of a rebirth for Lance Archer. They were making it seem like this is a whole new start for him, which is interesting because I feel like Lance Archer hasn't had that great of booking so far in AEW, but it goes on to that whole thing of like, there's only so much you could do. Like, they have one TV show and they have 2 championships that a singles competitor could possibly win. And for a while, it was just one. So I don't know. They did the same thing with Brian Cage a little bit, where it was like Archer and Brian Cage are just kind of in this, like, you feel like they're going to that next level, but then they're kind of not at the same time. There's just something holding them back. So I don't know. Maybe they're finally gonna pull the trigger on something with Archer. I have no clue, but maybe Rampage will help. I think Rampage, when we get Rampage, we're gonna get those trios championships. I'm not sure that's gonna help singles competitors whatsoever, but there are a lot of trios teams that can be tied up with that as well. James says, I'm going to sleep. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye. See you later, man. James, I appreciate you tuning in. Christopher says that slap from Starks to Cage, man. Once again, Ricky, just like Paige and Sky, has that it factor as well. Gotta love the absolute Stark Man Jones. Yeah, Ricky Starks is crazy talented. Like, that guy, man, he's with the right booking. Yes. Ricky Starks is going to the moon. Absolutely to the moon, man. Okay. Next up, we had Nyla Rose taking on Leyla Hirsch. I didn't really watch all this match. I kind of took this time to play with my dog, and I was watching Aaron Carter get knocked out by Lamar Odom. But from what I hear, this match was good. I'm not the biggest fan of Nyla Rose. I feel like she's run her course, in my opinion. So, like, now they're going to have her get some wins to feud with Britt Baker, and that's fine because they're going to need some challenges for Britt Baker, and it makes sense to have her just kind of beat Nyla because we all know that Nyla's not going to beat Britt Baker. She's not going to become the women's champion again so soon. So I guess I would prefer to get this one out of the way so that we can work on matches against Thunder Rosa, matches against Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb lost the NWA Women's World Championship, so maybe she'll have some more matches here. So Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, Ty Conti, Anna Jay, like, there's a lot of people that can be put onto this world championship scene for Britt Baker, and I'm very excited for it. Philip says, I'm going to tell you something. What's Nexus? Who will you pick? CM Punk Nexus or Wade Barrett Nexus? Which one would you pick? If you didn't see CM Punk, look it up. Yeah, I'm familiar with CM Punk. I didn't watch WWE at the time, so I'm not too sure. Warrior says, I think it's because there's way less titles, so not everyone can be at that level. I think that they shuffle out guys in the top spot. Yeah, they need... The best thing to do when you don't have titles is to do very intense storytelling between them so that it doesn't necessarily matter that there's a title on the line through them or not. That's the best way to kind of keep people on the sidelines. It's not like WWE where they have Raw and SmackDown and, you know, they have 2 titles on each one. They got 2. Like, that's it. Jack says, bro, I'm so sorry I'm late. I just woke up. No worries, man. We're just trying to run through the show. It's late for everyone, so we're just trying to get through this show. We don't have much left. But with that being said, too, as well, like Leyla, I love Leyla Hirsch. Leyla Hirsch is so great. I'm so happy that they ended up signing her because I think she's really talented and she's great. I love the gimmick and everything. I love all of that stuff. So hopefully, after a while, she'll start to get to that point where she can even have a world championship match against Britt Baker. I would love to see that. Christopher says Thunder Rosa needs to take it from Britt since she won the Lights Out match. I hope that Britt has it for a while, and I hope that this is a new start for their women's division. I think that they really need it after all the stuff with Hikaru Shida, and it's not to take away from Shida because she was great and all that, but maybe it was the pandemic or maybe it was the travel ban. Maybe she was stuck somewhere else, but I feel like Hikaru Shida's run could have been a lot better. So hopefully this reset now where they have Britt Baker and they have women who are more talented. Like, AEW does not have the worst women's roster or women's division, I guess I should say. AEW does not have the worst women's division anymore. We're not in that same situation we were back in the day when like Riho was champion and Nyla Rose was champion. There's some actual very good wrestlers. There's a lot of really good contenders. So I hope we just stick in this new era, and I hope that Britt has a really good reign because Britt is over as hell as well. That's another pop that when we were there was crazy. Warrior says Leyla would be great in Team TAZ. She fits their gimmick. You're right. That would be great. I would love to see that. And I really I've been a big fan of females being added into groups as well, like having them be multi-gendered. I think that's a lot. I think it's really cool when stables do that and they're not just like all guys. Like, throw some women in there. Anna Jay in the Dark Order is fantastic. Like Warrior just said, Leyla Hirsch and Team TAZ would be amazing as well. Like, that's great. Christopher says, bye, OW. Have a great weekend, man. I'll join the post show tomorrow if you end up doing one. Thank you, man. I'm not so sure about the Impact one, but we will 100% be here on Sunday for NXT TakeOver. Hoodie says Miro is a total package. He is, man. He is. I'm so happy with Miro and where he is at right now. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Next up, we had a great promo from Britt Baker. I won't go into much of that since we were just talking about all of that and we are past that hour mark. But like I said, very happy that Britt Baker's champion. The new title looks much better, being bigger, and it looks great on her. Sounds good, man. Thank you, Christopher. Have a good rest of your night, my friend. They also announced, we kind of talked about this earlier, but AEW announced that it is official since Wardlow accepted. Wardlow and Jake Hager will take each other on next week on Friday, Dynamite, in an MMA rules cage fight. So that will be fun. Be very interesting to see how that is. Next up, we get to our main event match of the night. Hangman Adam Page teaming up with Dark Order's 10 to take on Team TAZ's Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, we've had and I think this is why this match was on last, because they, Team TAZ has been having some problems. All right, like Team TAZ is fine, but they're having some problems. Okay, they're having some problems. So I think that's the reason why this went on last. They've had Ricky Starks throw the FTW championship to Brian Cage, and he just doesn't want to use it. He doesn't want to cheat to win. So again, in this match, Ricky Starks throws Brian Cage the FTW championship. He looks at it and he just launches it out of the ring, and Ricky Starks loses it. He starts yelling, screaming, and he stomps up to the ramp, and Brian Cage meets him at the ropes, and Ricky Starks slaps the absolute shit out of Brian Cage. Just a big old right across the face, and Brian Cage just stares at him. And it was at this moment that Ricky Starks knew that he had fucked up. He had messed up. This was not a good situation for Ricky Starks to be in anymore. So, Ricky Starks takes off for the tunnel, and Brian Cage follows him, leaving Powerhouse Hobbs alone in this tag team match, and 10 and Hangman Adam Page were able to take advantage of having the extra man, and they beat Powerhouse Hobbs. So I can only imagine how this is going to go down next week when Brian Cage is pissed off at Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs is pissed off at Brian Cage. And I'm sure that TAZ, he was shouting about some stuff on commentary. I think it was more so towards Brian Cage. So TAZ is probably going to be mad at Brian Cage as well. So you have a really, really messy relationship going on here with Team TAZ. And I think it's probably time that Brian Cage is going to separate himself from Team TAZ. And I'm kind of curious to know what that means for the FTW Championship, which is something else that they could utilize on their TV show that they just don't. I think he's defended that championship twice. I don't necessarily understand why it's even a thing. I didn't watch ECW back in the day, so I don't necessarily understand all that nostalgia stuff or whatever Taz did with it back then. So I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see some sort of thing with Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. Maybe for the FTW Championship, maybe Hobbs will take it off of Cage and Cage will just go on a babyface thing. I don't know. But I'm definitely interested in seeing it because Team Taz never really took off. We all know that Ricky Starks is talented. We all know that Brian Cage is talented. And we all know that Powerhouse Hobbs is talented. But they've never really gotten anywhere. They've kind of been held back. So maybe it's time for Brian Cage to separate so that he can shine. Or Ricky Starks and Hobbs can shine. I don't necessarily know. I guess Team Taz would work well as trios if they can make it to Rampage. But who knows if that's going to happen. Chloe says Team Taz is having relationship problems. Yes, but remember, Team Taz is fine. Team Taz is fine. Okay. After the match, like I said, Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order's 10 are able to get the win over Powerhouse Hobbs, and they do they do the classic drinking with Hangman Adam Page. I'm not sure what they were drinking. John Silver said that he drank a beer on Dynamite. So I think that they were drinking beers, but -1 was on stage with them as well. And he had a bottled water and he was drinking with them as well. And it was a really good visual. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to end the show. And the crowd pop for Hangman Adam Page was crazy. It was so loud. People still love Page. It seems like he's been able to carry that momentum that he had with the fans over into what he's still doing now. So it'll be very interesting when the crowds come back to see how they feel for him and how fast they pull the trigger on Page dethroning Kenny Omega. We all know it's happening. We all know it's coming. We just don't know when. And, with fans back, they'll finally be able to start pushing Hangman. It seems like they've been trying to keep him built up as they possibly could, but at the same time, you could tell they were trying to keep him away from Kenny. He was the #1 contender, and they had Brian Cage beat him for that. Like, none of that really necessarily fit into anything. It just kind of seemed like a way to take Page away from Omega temporarily so that they're not competing. And that is going to be one of the most beautiful feuds of all time. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the video packages that they had when they lost their tag team championships and they were feuding. They were like slightly feuding. They were kind of like just not on the same page, I guess, if you will, during that AEW World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator Tournament, and they had to face each other. Like, the video package before that match was crazy. So I'm so excited when we get to this actual feud between Page and Omega for the World Championship. I can't wait to see what they're able to put together video package wise. And the match is going to be incredible as well. At least I hope. I hope. I have very high hopes. Warrior says that's what happens when you book a babyface well. They stay over. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It is crazy. WWE really seems to struggle booking babyfaces. Chloe says when Adam Page becomes the drunk face of AEW, I'll die happily. Yeah, I'm 100% buying some sort of cowboy shit world title beer shirt Like, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it. And I think that's where we just wrap it up tonight. I think that's where we wrap it all up tonight. It's been an hour and 20 minutes, a little bit longer than I had intended, but I don't want to keep you guys here too late because it is late. It is late, and we got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. There is Impacts Against All Odds. Like I said, I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to be covering that show fully or not, but I will 100% be watching Moose versus Kenny Omega, and anything that happens during that will be reported. If it's crazy, the end, like if the AEW roster storms and beats the hell out of Moose or something and all hell breaks loose, like we might go live for like 30 minutes to talk about it. I'll let you guys know. Sunday is NXT Takeover in Your House. That is on Sunday. There will be full coverage of that on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, there will be a post-show afterwards as well. Should be a great event. I've never seen an NXT Takeover that wasn't great, that I didn't like. So lots of exciting stuff this weekend. Warrior says it's crazy to see how much people weren't into Hangman and Baker in the beginning of AEW compared to now. Both are now beloved. Baker is champ and Hangman is soon to be. I know, like Hangman in New Japan never really stood out to me. I knew that he was talented and everything, but nothing really connected like it does now. And you know, he did that whole stuff where he was the Joey killer or whatever on BTE, where he killed Joey Janela and Joey Ryan, and then he had that match against Joey Ryan at All In. Like, that was really good. That match was really good. And I think maybe it was somewhere around that point where it was just like, man, Hangman is great. Like, he's so talented. Like, all the stuff that I saw him do on like Wrestle Kingdom, like the backflips and the buckshot lariat, like all that stuff was so impressive. But here he's really, really connected with everyone in AEW so well. Like the cowboy stuff is gotten over so well. And like even the horse stuff, Hunter Horse Helmsley, like, man, all that stuff is just so good. Chloe says, AOW, if Adam wins the title, you got to celebrate Stone Cold style. There's no way Adam Cole's winning that championship. There is no way. Stone Cold style, as in like the Twitter post that he did where the beer was just blowing all over the place. He poured like a whole beer out trying to drink it, and it just blew away in the wind, like the whole thing. Philip says, new Nexus picture. No Nexus picture tonight. We're gonna wrap this up and we're gonna get out of here. It's late. It's late. Everyone wants to go to bed. It's been a lot of wrestling on tonight. 4 hours of wrestling and an hour and a half post show. I think we're good to leave it there. But yeah, so we have those going on this weekend. Don't forget, if you're into the whole gaming stuff, we have AOW Money in the Bank that is coming up on Monday. It's going to be like 9 matches. It's going to take up forever, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys tune in for that. It's just going to be the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And then on Wednesday, we'll go back to FFBW as well. So, all right, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I know it's late, but thank you. Zach, fellow disciple here. What are you doing, my friend? How are you? Get some money going down for you and some moves. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate you so much. Says, damn, I missed the whole show. Hope everyone has a great rest of their night. Yeah, I was trying to keep this one a little bit, wrap this one up a little bit early. I was hoping to be around an hour, but we're about an hour and 25 minutes. It's late for a lot of people, so I don't want to keep people up very late. And we got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. I got to get all this Google Sheets stuff done with AOW Underground and FFBW and all that stuff, so we actually know what's going on. And we're not just like trying to piece together the episodes from last week. But thank you, man, for tuning in. I appreciate you for being a disciple. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure chatting with all you guys. Thank you so much for staying up. And I will see you all maybe tomorrow. But I will certainly see you on Sunday for the NXT Takeover in Your House stream. Have a good night, and I will see you all then. Peace.